record now.
Perfect.
Yeah, when I think about the coaching industry, the biggest thing that I, definitely notice, and I've been around for a long time. I've been around for about 8 years now. And I know that's like, in dog years, it's like, stuff, but it's a lot for coaching. Because I definitely, when I went through coaching certification school, and yes, I am one of those certified coaches. I did go to school. When I went through school, I remember sitting there and being so excited because they were like, this is, 2007 or so. And they're like, one day when you go out there and you're going to say that you're a coach, people are going to say, oh my gosh, what do you coach on? And at the time when I was going out there and saying, well, I'm a coach, people were definitely like, so what sport?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? And so I was so looking forward to the day that coaching became like this mainstream term. At the same time, now that I see that it's welcomed, it's acknowledged, it's people see it as a real profession, I'm also recognizing that there's a lot of coaches who are not financially finding that this is a real profession for them. I'm also finding that a lot of coaches are being brought into programs where they're not necessarily getting the best benefit of the teaching and the trainings. So they're not able to create businesses that are built to last. That a lot of them are creating really expensive hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying all this because not only have I observed it, but I've experienced it. So I'll tell you my story, and it's not pretty. It's not a happy ending, but it wasn't pretty.
Okay.
And I'm also, there's a lot of, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors that makes it like, oh, you can charge like $10,000 an hour as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the almighty wizard's like, yes, and you will be a mighty coach. And then you pull back the curtain, there's this little guy like, I'm the wizard, So, and so I want to speak to those things that are debilitating people in their ability to grow a, consistent income, make a good living, really flourish, and love what they do without, going down these rabbit holes that are definitely dangerous, definitely slippery, and definitely have you set up for lack of success, set up for failure. And I'm not saying that you're not going to go into a business venture and automatically succeed. Sometimes you have to go through the bumps and the bruises in order to succeed. But there's oftentimes you can avoid a lot of the bumps and the bruises, and you can work smarter and not harder, and you cannot complicate what needs to be done. There's my mentality is kiss it, baby. Keep it simple, sister. Keep it simple, soldier. Stop trying to make this, something more than it needs to be. Mm-hmm. So I really thought through, and I was like, okay, what if I had to break it down into like key points that I see consistently happening with people that is affecting their ability to have a coaching business that is going to provide the income they need to have the life that they want? Then, what are some of the things that I see that are getting in the way of it? And what are some of the ways that you can get over those? And, so I came down like my top 6. There's probably more. There's probably a book in this. But I'm going to share, what I found. And before I go there, I just want to share where, how did I come up with these top 6?
Yeah.
Okay. So first and foremost, as you know, I'm a coach. Started out 8 years ago. Got laid off from my corporate job, my cushy corporate 6-figure rocking and rolling job, where they were like, you can leave, but you can stay. And I was like, no way, no how, I'm going to go be a coach. Right. So I jump into the world of coaching and I'm like, woo, woo, I'm free. I'm going to start my own business. Check me out. And in a year, you guys will be kissing my booty because I am a super successful coach.
Mm-hmm.
I had my seed money because I got a severance package. So I was like, I am set. I got a budget, everything, right? Well, no, it didn't quite go the way I planned. And I found myself like very quickly, I almost felt like I went to a casino, like with a boatload of money. And then I walked out of the casino, 3 months later, and all the money was gone. And I was like shell shocked. And I was like, where did the money go? Like, where are the clients? Like, what happened?
Right. Bills happened and clients didn't.
bills happened, life happened, clients didn't happen, marketing happened, websites happened, flyers happened, all this other stuff, all this arbitrary stuff was happening. But what wasn't happening was my business wasn't growing. And I didn't really know why. I didn't know like what was wrong with it. I couldn't figure out like the fix, like what was the main hole. And so I just floundered farther and farther down into the hole of I don't know what to do. So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a coaching program because I obviously need a coach. And I went to a coaching program. It wasn't horribly expensive, but it was thousands of dollars that I really didn't have to expend in that manner.
Can I interrupt for just a half a second?
Sure.
Can you explain a little bit? This is a question I've really been curious about. There seems to be like this phenomenon, coaches coaching coaches. And so can you go over that just a little bit? It sounds really negative on the surface.
I know.
Right? Now, especially if they're in the same industry, it's like, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense. This would be like me asking for video training or video editing training. It's like if I've got experience as a video editor, other than really, high level stuff, I get that. So is that what we're talking about here? Or explain a little bit about the whole concept of what that really means.
Yeah. So Perception Boss says what sounds negative about it, continuing education. And I understand what Jay is saying. I think Jason. I think I get what Jay is saying on this one. When there's this statement that says that people are throwing around, like, I don't want to be a coach who's coaching coaches, or I don't want to get caught up in the coaches coaching coaches thing. And so there's this perception, Jason, Perception Boss, there's this perception that that's a bad thing, that if you end up being a coach, that's what's going to end up happening for you. The only way that you'll make money is if you become a coach who coaches other coaches, that you'll never end up really coaching the public at large. That
really needs you.
Yeah, you get that, Jason, right? You totally hear that, right?
Okay.
So that's what, people are feeling like, okay, that's how people are making money. They're only coaching other coaches. So therefore, the public at large is not getting served. So is there really any viability to the coaching industry? And there are a lot of coaches who coach other coaches. And I think that comes from, they gain a knowledge, they gain an awareness. I'm a coach who coaches coaches, obviously. But it's because of all the experiences that I can bring to a newer coach's life that's going to shortcut, that's going to help, that's going to give them some aspects and perspectives that they probably don't even know that are existing. They don't know what they don't know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But are there coaches coaching other areas of life? Absolutely. So it's not a bad thing to be a coach who coaches coaches. It's a cautionary tale to be a coach who didn't ever want to coach other coaches, then has a coach who tells you that you should coach other coaches because, that would be helpful for other coaches. And then you find yourself coaching other coaches, even though that's not what you wanted to do in the first place.
Okay.
And so there becomes that slippery slope where a lot of people end up like, I'm coaching other coaches, but that wasn't what I set up. That wasn't the business that I created. And actually, I'm doing a blab on that Monday. Like, what business are you in, really? Because there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of people are like, they just say, well, that just sounds like an easier path to cash for you. So why don't you just do that? And people get like, okay, that makes sense. And then they're like, I didn't mean to be here. I didn't mean to be a business coach. I didn't want to be a business coach, but here I am, a business coach. And that deepens that perception that the only way to make money as a coach is to be a coach who coaches coaches.
Okay.
Does that answer?
Yeah, it's the same thing as the online space. The only way to make money online is to sell your products to help people make money online.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which isn't true.
Right.
It's not true at all.
Yeah. So my girlfriend Jennifer's on here, and Jason says he's not in that coaching world where people say that. So you're a lucky guy, Jason. Okay, hold on. I dropped something. And can you hear me? She said you lost volume. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. Jennifer, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So my girlfriend Jennifer's on here, and Jennifer knows I'm always like pushing her because she's just tremendous and amazing, and wait until you get a load of her. But Jennifer, she was going down that slippery slope too, where somebody said to her, oh my gosh, what you do is amazing. You should be, going as a branding coach for coaches. And that wasn't her heart. That wasn't her passion. That wasn't why she got into coaching. Her coaching wasn't set up to do that. So in that instance, it kind of, she had to have that wake up call, like, this is not where I'm going. And thankfully we had a conversation, right, Jennifer? What did you say? That we had a conversation, and I could definitely see, like, you have a business in there, but that's not the business that you should be going towards. And so that she was able to change that direction, right? But if you're unaware, you can find yourself down a space that is not where you wanted to end up being. Okay. So I think that's, it's fairly common. It's fairly common that you see that, like you said, online marketers are like, go coach online marketers. It happens. Okay. All right. So let me go over then a few things. Oh, so my whole, I've paid thousands for coaching to get coached. I've paid tens of thousands to get coached. I've been in year-long programs. I've been in short-term programs. I've been one-on-one coached. I've been coached up the wazoo. I've done marketing work. I've done mindset work. I've done every area that you can possibly think of when it comes to getting coached. And that doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I'm going to continue that. You continue that education. But I've been in some great programs, and I've been in some not so great programs. I've been in programs that were timely for me, and I've been in programs that were not my time.
Right.
And, in finding that all out, it's a costly lesson to find out at the end. Right. And I've talked to colleagues who have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're no farther along in their businesses than when they started.
It sounds, when you said that, it sounded to me, the first thing that came to my mind was AA for coaches.
They're addicted to the spending money,
to the learning, to the never implementing. That's a whole nother discussion. But,
and it's some of it they're never implementing because of the it's just overwhelming. There's so much to do, and they're still in the beginning stages and all. But some of it they're getting advice that's not necessarily advice for them.
Right.
It's just not their time. It's not their advice. It's
Right. It's not personal. It's got to be relevant and personal. Otherwise, forget it. You can't teach somebody necessarily. Every step that you did is not going to work for somebody else. It might, but there's no guarantee that it's going to.
Yes. And there are some programs where it's like, do it my way.
Right.
Or it's not going to work.
Yep.
And, that doesn't necessarily connect to the person as a whole. And I'm big on, there are a whole bunch of ways to market. Why not be able to find the way that markets for you, that you can consistently commit to? If you are a writer and you love to write, then you should be writing articles. You should be blogging. You should be writing a book. You should be focusing on those skill sets. You should be posting, those skill sets that feed your soul, but at the same time, help you get the word out about who you are. If you're somebody who speaks on camera, you should be on camera. You should definitely if you're a speaker, speak.
Right.
So you don't have to say, I see people like, people tell me I should be blogging. Why do you have to do it that way? When there's a number of ways to do it, just do it the way that works for you, and then find a system that supports the work. Right.
Yep.
So, there's a lot, and that's probably one of the points I was going to cover. But I want to share with you, like, what is one of the biggest hindrances to people building a coaching business? All right. Okay. Then this is like if we have bombs, this is one of those big ones. Coaches are comparing themselves to other coaches. They're comparing themselves to somebody who might be 10 years down the road from them, and they're just starting out. Okay. Or somebody who's, rebranding after building a successful business, or so, and they get enamored by the, I want this to work so badly that I will ignore the fact that even though you're saying you're making $20,000 a month and that you started by, just meeting people at a networking event, but you're making $20,000 a month now and online. I'll skip that and I'll just do the online stuff. And I'll be making $20,000 a month too. Not necessarily recognizing that they're comparing somebody's future to their today. And that comparison is the thief of joy, but it's also the thief of the business, right? It's stealing their time, their money, their energy because they're they're not ready for that space. So there's a lot of coaches out there who are doing advanced marketing strategies that they don't need to be doing right now because, you know, they're thinking, oh, I want to start a group program. And although, you know, by and large, that's not a problem in starting a group program, but you better be daggone good at getting one-on-one coaches, because all selling a coaching program is being able to close 10 people versus one person. So if you can't close one person effectively, what makes you think you're going to close 10? You've got to know just the basic skills to get to that space. And so although you think, you know, all of my online marketing efforts are going to reach me into this group program, no, you've got to start with the basics. And so you've got to be really clear about who you're following, what they're telling you, where they said they started, because a lot of times you get these after stories of these big people and they seem like, oh my gosh, you're like overnight success. And they're not telling you, like, it took me about 10 years to get there. And the first 3 years were really hard. And I didn't have any clients for a long time. Yeah. And by the way, you know, one of my, thank you, Jennifer. She's like, ooh, you breaking it down. You know, one of the bigger gurus out there, you know, will tell you that she started with one-on-one, you know, selling from a grocery store. People probably know who that is, right? She started from selling like right next to the fruit. And that was her beginning. There's another huge coach out there who used to do workshops in her area that were just like 2-hour workshops that she did every single month. And she would fill those workshops. And that's where she got her one-on-one clients from. You know, so a lot of them, and they didn't have the power of the internet, but even then, the fastest path to what income for them at that point was just having one-on-one connection, because the biggest thing is you have to be able to have a connection with your audience. And when you think that online is like the bee's knees, online is powerful. But think about, if online is powerful, y'all are sitting here listening to Blab. You're like, oh, I kind of don't care. And I'm making friends. Like Jay and I didn't know each other 2 weeks ago. Ha and I, who I'm like, I'm going to hug up on some Ha, didn't know each other last week. Jennifer and I, we've met through the internet. Like all of you that I'm talking to, we're talking to live. We're live streaming. But I will also tell you that Jay and I have spoken on the phone. Jennifer and I have spoken on the phone. Ha and I are going to speak on the phone. So we leveraged the internet to having one-on-one conversations. We didn't rely on the internet for that connection. Yeah. We initiated the connection. We deepened the connection when we actually spoke to each other. So it took me from let's have a conversation on the internet to let's have a conversation on the phone. Well, isn't it a lot easier and a lot faster if you're actually in the presence of someone just to say, hey, we're standing here, let's talk, right? Mm-hmm. And Preach. So, you know, it goes over people's heads that you have business, right? Like within the 5 miles from your house, within 5 miles. And unless you live like on a 5-acre or, 500-acre lot, then maybe you don't, but for the most part, most people are in areas enough that they can start getting their clientele. Right. So I think that is the biggest piece that, like stop comparing somebody else's after to your before. Lean into your before and really take an assessment of where am I right now? What do I need most? Right. And when it comes to these, I make $20,000 a month, and people are like, oh, so how much do you want to make a month? And I saw this on a thread where this one coach she was talking about, she's like, before I had the belief and got over my money mindset, I was floundering, but now I make $20,000 a month. I am all about mindset. I am all about you need to have a healthy relationship with money. And so that's all well and good, but that wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back for her to get into a mindset. She actually went into action and she did her marketing, she did her selling. But then she put out, well, what about you guys? How much do you guys want to make? And I'm not knocking it. I think it was a great question. And, the people were like, I want $5,000 a month. I want to make $10,000 by December. Da, da, da. And then there was one girl, she was like, I'm thinking so small. And I was like, pump the brakes. You're thinking small for who? For whom? That's your life. Don't let anybody else's definition of success goal be your goal. That's not for somebody else to claim for you. Maybe you only need to make $1,000 this month. Maybe you need to just make one client $500. Maybe you need to pay a phone bill. That's your business. And what's happening for people is they're comparing somebody else's income to tell them how adequate or inadequate they are in their own business.
If they have value and the value is tied to that dollar amount, which is complete and utter BS.
I think it's hi, Sandra. Hi, Miss Linda. Yeah. Jason was like, oh, Jason, we're gonna have to open up the door for you. I can tell before this is all out. He's like, I need to come in. Nice. I need to come in. Let me roll for a little bit. Nice. We're gonna have you come in. But that's what's going on for people. So what I always push my clients to look at is like, well, let's talk about your reality. Let's talk about what your wants are. Let's talk about what your needs are. Let's look at immediate need first, as far as your income is concerned. Do you need to be paying your bills? Do you need to be paying your bills and having a little bit more? Do you need, what is it? And then let's talk about your next level. What do you want? Let's talk about what you want, because then we can build towards that, and we can talk about a timeline. We could create a timeline around that that's reasonable and feasible for you. I'm not looking at Mary's business. I don't give a rat's about Mary's business, because Mary's business is not your business. So we need to look at your business.
Right.
And then when you have that clear sense of, okay, this is where I'm standing. This is my stake of land, and I have control over this stake of land. You feel less out of control when you're looking at, and I made $20,000 this month. Woo, look at me. Because there's a lot of backstory in that $20,000 too. You got taxes.
Right. So the whole grass is always So the whole grass is always greener thing. Quit looking at your neighbor and start looking at yourself.
Yeah, it's unfair to you.
Take your own.
Yes, it's unfair to you. You're doing yourself a disservice.
Good stuff.
When you're hurting yourself by saying, "Oh, I'm not good enough because Mary, she started 6 months after me, and she's making $20,000." You don't know what Mary did to get to that $20,000. You have no idea. You have no idea. Mary may have seemed like she started six months ago, but she might have just come on the scene and really showed herself 6 months ago. But Mary's been working in the backdrop for 6 years. Nobody knows about that.
Right. Another illustration I thought of when you said that is, this is an iceberg, right? And what people see is this much. They don't see what's down below the water. Right. That's where all the foundation is. All we see is just that little.
Right. It's like the J.K. Rowling story, right? Before the Harry Potter. Nobody knew that my poor J.K. Rowling, she was going from editor to publisher to publisher to publisher to publisher, and everybody was like, no. But then all of a sudden, she has this tremendous book series and these movies and stuff, and they were like, oh, that was so easy for her. No, it wasn't. She worked her tail off. She cried on her floor. She was in a little fetal position. She thought that she had no money coming. She was broker than broke. But she kept at it. But she only looked at, what do I need for me? I'm not looking to be the woman who wrote Harry Potter. That came after. She was like, I'm just looking for the woman to be the woman who gets this book published. I just want this one book published, not the series. I got one book. Right. I want to get it published. That was it.
I got to take that. I got to step on that first rung of the ladder. Forget the 6 or 7 up to the top.
Take the first step. And that's
step one.
One of my colleagues says it all the time, and I love her for it. She's like, before you sit there and you're talking about, I need to make $10,000, $20,000 a month. She's like, have you made your first 1,000? Have you made the first? Can you repeat how you made the first and make the second? Can you repeat, make the third? Right. Because if you can't repeat how you made the first, you can't make the 10th. You've got to be able to repeat what you did in order to continue to go. So that, that right there. So I'm good. Are we good with comparison? Think about your piece of the iceberg. She's like, yes, we're good.
Right. All right. That's gold.
So the next thing I want to talk about is that the lack of sales and marketing. A lot, and this happened for me. Okay. So this is my true story. Like I said, and I think this is, for coaches, this is big, because we are all passion, all heart, all the time. We want to save the world. Raise your hand, put a 1 in that box. If you're like, I am all passion, all heart, I would definitely want to save the world. I want to leave an impact and change people's lives. Drop me a 1. Let me know that's one. Hell yeah, Sandra said, right? We want to come in and we want to make change for people. We care. we support, we cheerlead, we encourage. We are the best at that. And so sometimes we're considered idealistic and overly optimistic. Oh, just a little. Anybody been accused of that? Probably so. And we operate from emotion. We operate from passion, right? That's all well and good. Right. And you need that in your business. However, if that's who's on the board, if anybody's seen the, Coach Jenny said, who, me? It's biblical. Yes, Collins. If anybody's seen the movie Inside Out with, the little, they're in the heads, joy, anger, fear, disgust. My daughter and I love that movie. If you haven't seen it, it's just a really great demonstration, and you should steal a kid and see it. But what happened is when Joy was at the helm, the little girl that the emotions were inside of, she broke down because she couldn't keep rallying up. She just couldn't keep. She needed to have the breakdown, right? And so coaches, we're like, lift up, lift up, lift up. And we ignore the breakdown that's going on in our businesses. So we don't do necessarily the pieces that have to be done, the ones that we don't like to do, like might be the sales and the marketing. We do what feels good. Okay. We do what makes us heavy. We do what makes us think that we're making impact, right? I don't need to sell. I have an abundance mindset. Oh my gosh, can I ding, 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 ding? Oh Lord, I wish I could like that 20 times. Yeah, we sit there and we make up these stories about, oh, but it's so easy. And I did this, folks. I know. I just thought if I announced that I'm a coach, guess what? I'm a coach and people will pay me because I love people and I can help people. But I wasn't marketing and selling myself so that they could find out that I love them, and could help them. I was sitting in my house on the computer like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead. and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to create something that's going to be great. And then maybe they'll find me. They'll come. I'll just wait, and that was helping me avoid all that I needed to do to be found, to be seen, to offer my great services. And even when I had the opportunities to offer great services, I was still like, oh, I feel funny about that. I don't know if you really want to buy from me. I don't know. And so I didn't necessarily, now I come from a sales background, people. That was my job for a living. I trained other people to sell. I trained other people to train other people to sell. I sold to thousands of people. It's my background. You think that I would have gotten a clue, but no. When it came to selling myself, that was a whole new story. And isn't that crazy, right? Jason, I'm sure you could tell. Yeah. Sure you could tell me that, there's probably some mindset challenges in it, right? But you know what? I thought it was going to be, I assumed that would come naturally. That's going to be easy. That's going to be the easy part. Instead of taking it really seriously, that's the skill set that I needed to hone. Sales is something that I'm strong at, but not selling myself. I had never had to do that. And then marketing was something that I had marketing teams at my job telling me what to market, how to do. They already laid the groundwork. They're like, there's the doctor's list. Go sell to them. So when it came to me marketing, I was like, I gotta go find the people. Like nobody told me. And how do I do that? And then when I get there, how much do I charge them for what I want to offer them? Oh, and by the way, what do I offer them? What do I name it? How do I sound? Like there was all these questions that I didn't. And so they're swirling in my head. And what that had me do was just avoid it altogether. So I'm going to do what makes me feel good because I'm a creator. So I'm going to create some content. And this is going to be the best content ever. And when people find it, they're going to be amazed. I'm going to go ahead and fix my website and rename my business cards and redesign them 20 times because that's easier. It was easier to avoid. But I'm going to play business. Every entrepreneur has a problem with playing business. They may have, right? But here's the thing. People were like, asking me, so what are you doing? How's this business going? Good. I'm so busy. But busy wasn't equating to business. I was busyness. I was doing busyness, but I didn't have business. Yeah. Right? So that was there. And when it was like, okay, wait, the light bills too? But we need money for the light. That was on me. Oh, crap. Right. Then it was like, okay, I got to change something. Something's got to give. And then it was like, okay, you know what? You got to show up and do what you got to do and stop playing that you're in business, stop being a hobby and start going out and building a business. And what's going to get you that? What's going to get you clients? Selling and marketing. But you know what?
Okay.
When I figured out, well, that's the only thing standing between me and clients. Well, I better learn how to do that quickly, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. So is closing a piece of sales?
Heck yeah, closing is sales a piece of marketing. You know that question. That was a loaded. That was like question. Oh yeah, of course.
Can you go into closing just a little bit? I'm really curious. Coming about things from a perspective of integrity and having your client's best interest in mind. It was a different world back in the 80s, right? That was all about get it done. Yep. Get it done, right? At all costs. It doesn't work that way in this new world. I mean, Seth Godin calls this economy the connection economy. And that's what this is all about, right? This is how you and I we've connected. So closing. How does closing, which has never changed, it's still closing, whether it's 80s, 60s, 1800s, it's the same thing, but the process has changed. Go into your enlightened process.
Enlightened awareness about closing. Well, when it comes to coaching, the coaching industry, because I won't say that the hard close is not always working. I definitely think it's industry specific.
Right.
Like if you're selling, from the stock market floor, you're going to be a person who's always closing. Like that is your job. So I think that there's industries that kind of are used to that style of closing. Never been my style. Definitely, I came from a pharmaceutical background, so we didn't do hard closes because there wasn't really a need for hard closes. What I found though in the coaching industry that is, because we're such a connection-based industry. It's all about connection. It should be about connection in any industry. Like really, we could peel back any industry and say, okay, there's a lack of connection here. There's a lack of connection. There's a lack of connection. But in the coaching industry, it weighs heavily on your ability to connect to whom you're going to coach, because you have to have permission. And if that person doesn't have trust with you, it's going to be hard for them to allow you to coach them because you have to get into their head. So if you can't, the walls will be up. So when it comes to closing, it's the trust factor has to be very, very high. And if that person feels they're being pushed in a direction they're not ready to go, then you're pushing too hard. Okay. Right. And so if you're stealing somebody's opportunity to make a decision for themselves, you're pushy. If you're offering them the opportunity to make a decision that's going to change them, you're not pushing. You're holding them to a commitment to themselves.
Right. One thing I've realized too in this year for myself is that people don't like to be sold to. They want to purchase.
Yeah, nobody wants to be sold to.
Being sold to is out of your control. Right. Purchasing is me making the decision myself based on the information.
And if you've done, if you've had the best conversation with a person and you really match qualities and what they need and what they want with what you can deliver, then you're just having a confirmation conversation that's just allowing that commitment to happen. You're allowing that person to say yes to themselves in a very full of integrity and ethical way. If you are trying to do it so that you're serving yourself first, it's not going to work. Because at some point, that relationship is going to break down because it's not built on mutual trust, commitment, understanding. It's built on self-serving nature. Does that clarify?
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. So, if you're a coach and you're worried about closing, that is, asking yourself, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish and who for? Because I understand in the beginning, I've taken on some coaching clients that were disasters for me and for them, and it was one of those, well, I'm going to pay the bill. Oh my God, I can help you. I know I can help you. I can still figure out how to help you. Right. And so in this space of desperation, I wasn't being honest to them and I wasn't being honest to myself. I was more of like, I want to help you. I'm not doing this just because I want your money. I do believe I can help you, but I'm going to have to work so hard to help you because I'm probably going to have to figure this crap out that I'm going to lead you into a space that you don't deserve to be in. And I've got to be honest about where my helping stops, and where it begins. Because there are people that I'm not your social media coach. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not the social media coach. I can tell you what to post on social media, but I can't tell you how to operate social media, right? Because there are people who are far smarter than me who live, eat, sleep, breathe social media. My friend, if y'all know Eric Johnson of Social Media Profit Agency, socialmediaprofitagency.com. If you're looking for somebody to run your social media and give you some really great insight, that's my dude. That's my dude. I'm going to say, go see Eric, because I don't want to play that game. But I'm going to help you determine what needs to be put up there, right? So that's the honesty piece. But sometimes in our heart for help, we take it all on. Take it all. And I'm going to carry the world. And then I'm going to resent this relationship that we've created. I'm going to be mad because I got you as a client. And then I'm going to feel like I'm not serving you properly. And you're going to be mad because you're going to feel that I'm not serving you properly. And we're going to have a breakdown. And and I always say that some money's too expensive to take. That's all there is to it. Some money's too expensive to take. All right. Thank you.
That's a good one.
So the other thing, I talked about, how we build these businesses from this idealistic space. And, I think that for all the love and heart and emotion that coaches bring into our industry, it also makes for a very emotional based business that is not necessarily objective enough to see if the foundation is set, to see if, what you're trying to market is actually going to be something that's going to create income for you. So I think that there's a lot of, I've observed that there's a lot of like playing out, I'm playing with the whole business thing, but I don't necessarily know how to structure a business. And I used to teach a startup business course for the Women's Economic Development Center up in Westchester. I did it for 3 years, and it was a 12-week course where we built from beginning to, 12 weeks out, you had a business plan and you had a marketable, profitable business idea. And it was something that they could leave there and they could start. And a lot of them started during the course, right? Well, most people don't take the time. Like I said, I was a heart and soul coach. I didn't think about how much money I needed. I didn't think about the profitability of the market that I wanted to start in. Y'all, here's a little secret. I started out as balancing acts coaching. I was going to coach working moms on how to leave their business, how to leave their jobs and start their own business. The people that I was talking to didn't want to start their own business and they didn't want to leave their jobs. And they doggone sure weren't going to pay me to tell them how when they were getting really good paychecks. I was misreading the fact that they were frustrated with their lack of time at home and frustrated in their jobs for, hey, well, just follow me and be free. Just quit your job. They were not in that space of quitting a job. They were just dissatisfied and probably needed more support in that space of how do I manage my time, my life, my everything, instead of how do I leave my job and start a business.
Were you able to pivot then and then help them with the questions they really wanted help with, as opposed to
heck no, because I wanted to do business coaching. So I was like, you know what, my business is all wrong. All right. It's all wrong. So I needed to blow up my business and start all over again and go back to, in that discovery, that's what I found out is that I was creating this business that I really had no business on and no business creating, no intention of creating. And so it was really helpful for me to actually see that, you know what, I'm going to go nowhere fast. And I'll tell you what happened is I was at, this couple resources. If you're starting out and you just want to run ideas by somebody who can be very objective with you, and who can tell you whether or not your business is going to run, then these are what coaching consultations help. And hopefully you're picking coaches who push against you. Because like I said, we can romanticize anything. We are coaches. We are wonderful at happiness. We are wonderful at positivity. We are wonderful holding on to bad ideas because we just love them so. But we need to find people who really get in, and they push against us and they cause us to think. Go to your local SCORE. Mm-hmm. If you have a SCORE in your area, SCORE.org. If these are, in the beginning, I went to this guy. His name was Jerry. I'll never forget. I love me some Jerry. I wonder how he's doing these days because that was up in New York. Jerry was this crotchety, no nonsense dude. He's retired now. SCORE is retired executives who mentor business owners, and he was just as crafty as he wanted to be. So Jerry, I tell him, okay, this is my idea, Jerry, balancing acts coaching. What do you think? And I show him my business card, and so he looks at the business card. And he goes, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, I don't even know Jerry. Like, this is within the first 5 minutes of meeting Jerry, and I'm like, crushed. I'm like, well, it's my business. It's balancing acts coaching. He's like, so what the hell do you do? And I'm like, I coach working moms on how to start businesses. He said, have they told you that they want to start businesses? I'm like, not really. And he's like, so how do you find them? Where do you go? How are you going to market to them? How are you going to reach them? If they're at work, how are you going to network with them? And he's asking me these questions, and I'm like, holy crap. I don't know, Jerry. Wow. I don't know. Like, I didn't cry, but I was crushed. Like, I was like, crawling out of there. Like, well, thanks, Jerry. I'll see you in 2 weeks. But I loved him for his honesty.
So in 5 minutes, he got down to the hardcore reality.
He broke it down, and because he wasn't emotionally attached to my business. Right. And we need to find coaches who are not just giving us love ups and encouragements when we're going down the wrong path. Mm-hmm. We need to find those coaches who are going to say, you know what, that I love your passion for that idea. But you know what? It's not going to pay your bills, boo. You need to rethink this. And we need to be able to be coachable and open to the fact of, you know what, you might be onto something. Because I've been working at this forever and I'm not making a damn dime. That is when we open ourselves to that, and when we appreciate and receive that, it makes a whole world of difference. So, he said, Jason's like, rah, rah, hoofy is only half of coaching. It so is. So, it's really important that we take the romantic pieces. Now, we love our businesses, but we get objective about our business, that we put in, and it's not the fun stuff, and it doesn't always feel good. But we need to put in the measurables.
Right.
Right.
So you know me by now. You know that I'm like this illustration guy, right? And so I'm seeing in my head the whole coaching thing, the cheerleading aspect of it. It's only half of it, and you're saying you can't do that, especially if you know somebody's going down a wrong road, like your Jerry, for example. So if you're a cheerleader, are you going to cheer your team on when they're going the wrong direction?
Oh, that's a sweet analogy. Let's prop them up. Prop them up. That's a sweet analogy. Yeah, that's it. And Rita, she makes a really good point. Sometimes you need a mentor versus a coach, right? Right. Who's not necessarily coaching you. They've been down that road. They know exactly what to look for. And that's why Jerry was so great, because he's been down that road. He knows what it takes to start a business. And he's not doing it from an emotional place. He's doing it from, this is tried and true. I've started my own businesses. I've helped other people start theirs. I know what's really working. So
right. When I see people in groups and they post the question, I want to start a blog. Help me to figure out what I should blog about. I just go, I don't get involved. Next, I just move on, because that ain't gonna happen. If they don't have, that's the one question you have to have.
Yeah, if you don't know what to blog about.
If you don't have that.
We talked about this one day. When I see coaches, this is a sign that, would you do my business building for me? Yes, Jenny. Oh my gosh. There's a sign that, are you ready for prime time? When, we've both seen like the post where people are posting, so I have this client and they came to me with this challenge and I'm wondering what I should say to them.
And I took
this client,
and now I'm asking you for your advice on
and maybe you can help me coach this client. Well, you give me the money,
right?
And I will coach your client because obviously you should not be the one coaching your client. And I actually pushed back on a young lady in that she never responded.
Of course, they don't. They don't want to get pushed.
I'm just saying, because I was like, okay, so tell me what she hired you for, and that was my straight answer. Like, tell me what she hired you for. Because if you can't answer that and you're asking questions that fall under the realm of what you claim to be an expert for, then perhaps you're in the wrong business. Right. So building business that's not your business, your sticky widget, be honest and step away and build what you're supposed to build. Because you know what? You will have income if you stay in your genius.
Right.
You will burn yourself out if you try to be somebody else's, use somebody else's brain for your business.
Right.
Just not good.
Right. Put the wad of cash back on the table.
And just say, you know what? I'm so sorry. You know what? I'm going to fire me. I'm going to fire myself. I'm going to fire myself. And I've fired myself from clients before. I've had to. I've been like, you know what? I'm so not the right person for you. And I apologize. And you know what? And I don't even like this. Like, I'm not even liking what I'm feeling right now. Like, I'm feeling like I'm doing you a disservice.
Right.
So I'm going to step away from this. Again, somebody's too expensive to take.
Oh, Jennifer's asking if there's going to be a replay.
Yes, I am
we are recording.
Yep. There is a replay, and you better work it and watch it, girl. That's right. All right. So another piece, and this is where I want Jay to jump in. Coach trainers don't want you to know.
Ooh.
Yeah, how do I retitle?
That's Jason, a blog.
Jason, jump in. I got to retitle this. So, Jay, this is another sticky widget.
Yeah.
Because I think that, you're eating lunch? Okay. All right. Next time then. Because I have to get off at 1:00. Unfortunately, I do have to. I'm having fun here. Are we having fun? And tell me if you're having fun. All right. So, one of the things that I noticed is that there's a lot, like I use myself as an example, and I'll always use myself as an example because I am the queen of do not do what I did. Don't. We save a lot of time, money, and effort. But there's a lot of people who are getting into that. I'm taking on unnecessary tools that I don't necessarily need to use. Oh, and Jay, just when I need you, babe. Oh, there you go. And they're taking on, so I alluded to this earlier. They're doing all of these marketing things they don't need to be doing.
Okay.
To build their right now business.
Okay.
They're building tomorrow's business right now. And so they're using some advanced strategies and techniques. And I every once in a while I have to check myself because I can get caught. I can totally, I have that. I can be a marketer's dream. Mm-hmm. That is something I know about myself. So I always have to gut check. I always have to pull myself back and say, is that just something that sounds sexy and so it makes me want it? Or is that something that I really need right now? Okay. And, it happened on last night. I was watching a Blab and they're talking. There was two people and they were talking about, and so I ordered my lighting kit and my mic and my boom mic and all that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be so cool to have that AV stuff. Now I don't even know if I'll be on Blab next week. So why would I order something like that? Like, am I setting up to be like, have my own Blab talk show? If I were, then that stuff might be appropriate. But the fact of the matter is right now, your little headphones, my little laptop, we're rocking and rolling. And the reason I want Jay to speak to that is because Jay helps people look good on camera. And, he always says that people are like, well, what kind of camera should I buy? And what kind of, and Jay, what do you tell them?
Well, it's all this gear, it's all gear. They want to know what gear to buy. It's like, wait a second, what do you have? Do you have a smartphone? Do you have a recent smartphone that you bought in the last year? You already have a camera. If it's got a decent sized screen, you already have the editor. I mean, for $5, you can buy an editing piece of software if you learn how to use it.
Yeah.
You don't need to go out and buy, again, I think it was last night, I saw a thread, somebody talking about lighting and exactly it. They threw out, you need such and such $200 light kit. I'm like, no, you don't. You need these fluorescent compact bulbs, there's daylight, and there's otherwise there's different degrees of temperature. That's a whole different story. But if you do this correctly and then you diffuse it with a piece of wax paper, you get the same result. People can't see the difference if you know what you're doing, right? Most people don't know what they're doing with this stuff. So they go to the default and they go to some big warehouse, Amazon, whatever, and they buy all this stuff. And then they get it delivered, UPS delivers it all. And then they're like, what do I do with this stuff now? Because now they spend $1,000 or more and they still don't have anything. Right. And it's like, no, I tell you what, let's get on the phone. Let's see what you want to do. Let's talk about why you want to do video in the first place and what kind of video you want to do. And then let's talk about the things like where you're going to do it. Where's your space? You're going to do like the home office? Well, okay, that's fine. Why do you want to do it there? And then what do you have for lighting already? And what are you going to use for audio? And, how are you going to shoot it and how are you going to edit it and all those things? And it's pretty amazing when you get down to the end of the day with all this process, I can walk somebody through this really quickly and they're like, that's it? Yeah, that's it. That's the whole point. Is that you don't have to, because all you're going to do is, it's the same thing you were saying earlier. All you're going to do is create yourself into this place of overwhelm, and you're not going to do anything. You're going to end up being a deer in headlights. You're going to get frustrated, and you don't need to do it that way. It doesn't have to be that complicated. So,
well, and here's what you, again, bringing it back to, how can you measure before you even invest at that level?
Exactly.
Is you do it the simple way first, right? So right now I'm on Blab, using my laptop, using my headphones, right?
Yep.
I didn't have to expend anything. This was like, just get on, right?
Yeah.
So here I am. I'm on Blab. Right now, this works. Well, if I'm going to be on Blab more, and I start to say, well, you know what? I want my backdrop to be more professional, and I really am going to turn this into a show, and I need better equipment. But I'm not going to do that until I see responsiveness. If I'm not getting the response from my Blab experience, then it's not equating to lending to, it's not going to pay for itself. Bottom line, if it's not going to pay for it, if the investment is not, I'm not going to get a return on my investment. Then it's not worth it. It's not a worthy investment. And I look at that, like, okay, if I take this bit of money here, what is the opportunity for a return on investment? This is what big corporations do, folks. This is where they all started from. What is the return on investment with that? What is the return? Should we invest in that? Why do we know? But they've tested it by applying it marketing wise first. They measure response from their audience. The audience will dictate for you what you need.
They validate. They validate whether they have an honest venture or not.
Exactly. And so I see people throwing good money after bad, like I built my website and then I had to trash it and start all over again because it wasn't really, my brand didn't feel right or I bought all these business cards. And even though business cards from Vistaprint cost me $20, you keep on adding that $20. There's some place that $20 could have made a heck of an impact.
Absolutely.
Heck of an impact. And you sat there and you took that $20 and you just said, you might as well just lit it. Because you're putting it in places that you haven't even seen that it was necessary yet.
For $20, for $20, you can buy a decent entry-level lapel mic. If you don't have the earbuds, that stops you from using the built-in mic on your smartphone because you're 4 feet away, and that's just a little bit too far for it to be effective. Whereas if you're like right up on it within 6 to 12 inches, it's great.
But otherwise, so if people would just take, not to mention the investment of time. Absolutely. Yeah. So here's the resources that you have when you're starting your business. Your time, whatever money you have is set aside, and your energy. And guess what? Your time is finite. You don't get it. You cannot, you can replenish your money. You can replenish your energy. You can't replenish your time. So you got to be really smart about where you're spending it, how you're spending it, and what you're spending it on.
I'm going to disagree with you just a little bit on that because that's something I've
because you figured out how to lengthen life. Let me hear.
No, what I've realized is every day, every new day that the sun comes up, you have more time, right?
Yes.
There's not a guarantee that when you get up that next day that you're going to have that same amount of energy. And if you're going to a job every day from 9 to 5, and then your parameter of time is from 6 to 10 or 6 to midnight or 6 to 2 to work on your business, the problem is you've expended all your energy to that boss through the day. So now you have the time, but the energy that you have doesn't equal the time slot that you're giving it, and you're screwed as trying to build a new business. I've been down this road. I know what I'm talking. I wrote a whole paper on this. So
I know, and I totally appreciate. I totally appreciate. But what I'm saying in that, Jay, is that we're all going to die someday.
Right.
We're going to run out of time, and if we are spending our time on the things that are not furthering us in our own personal definition of success, we're just wasting it. We're burning it.
Yep.
So yes, what you're saying is absolutely right. Yes, and we also need to be, mindful of where we're spending our time, because we could be making humongous impacts and humongous leaps and have better energy if we're spending time appropriately versus just frittering it away in places that are not necessarily going to benefit us.
Right.
So, that's how you get energetically connected.
Like wasting it on a blab. Yeah. Don't listen, people. Don't do that. If you see a blab,
I get sucked in blab.
Yeah. If they can't do a decent title, don't even go on there.
Yeah.
That's like channel surfing on TV. What are you doing? I mean, I've spent years doing that. Because I was just
wasting.
No, don't do that. Grab a self-improvement book or listen to an audio podcast or do something that's investing in yourself as opposed to you just being reactionary to the crap that's in front of you on a screen.
Woo! He got deep on us, folks. You heard that? He got deep on us. It's true, though. It's true. And so can I give a little? This one's gonna be. This one's not. Some people are gonna not like me for this, and I'm okay with that because I like me. But here's because I need people to hear this. When it comes to, you asked me a little earlier, like about sales and the closing and stuff. And I said, check in with, who you're closing for.
Right.
I always want to know too, who people are building their businesses for.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of people out there who are trying to self-validate through their businesses and make themselves look important, make themselves feel recognized and appreciated and all that as through the guise of being in business. Versus running a business to help other people. In the back of their mind, they think they're helping other people, but they're spending so much time in creating a presence for themselves. That business is about them. It's not about the people you serve. It's about you. If you're spending all of your money making yourself look good. And for anybody who's wondering, that's when you got to check yourself. You really got to stop and say, you know what? Am I creating a business? And before you jump in, I just wanted a quick point. I talked to a woman. She spent $200,000 on coaching and copy and visuals and graphics and websites, $200K. And she comes to me because she's heard that I can help her with her business. And at the time I was going to actually do some copy work for her because I do that too. And I was going to help her do copy. And then the more I'm talking to her, I was like, so let me ask you this. I'm asking the typical, so who are you marketing to? What are you trying to build? Where are you trying to go? And the more we started speaking, the more I was like, there's no business here. Now she's paid some bigwig folks to have her speaking and doing all sorts of, like writing books and all this stuff. But there was no meat.
No value.
There was all a bunch of potatoes. They all looked like kicks and giggles, but there was nothing of value. And there was nothing that
wasn't even potatoes. It sounds like it was just marshmallow cream.
Yeah, potatoes. It was air pie with wind sauce, honey. Air pie, wind sauce. And I was like, it was a shell. It was just a shell. And so I told her I said, you don't have a business here. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, what you have is something that's making you feel good. It's something that you're trying to create a platform. You're trying to look important. I said, you're trying to be a celebrity. I said, but you don't even have any appeal as a celebrity because there's nothing here. There's no positioning. There's nothing. I said, I can't even say that I feel any strength in what you're presenting.
It's something that allowed her to be okay with the fact that she's taking people's money for really giving them almost nothing in return.
Yeah. And she wasn't even really getting paid for it. She was actually still working in her, like she was trying to transition here, and she had to keep on taking money from her other angle because there was nothing happening here, and she couldn't figure out why nothing was happening. And I was like, well, because there's nothing there. And she got real quiet, and she took a deep breath, and she said, you're right. She's like, you're right. I was trying to be a celebrity. And she's like, and I have just created a very expensive hobby. And it's time that I come to grips with that. And she decided, she's like, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to stop. Because at this point, I need to figure out who I am.
Wow. And
if you ask me, that was the best conversation I've ever had in my life. Now, was that easy for me to tell her?
No.
Absolutely not. My heart hurt for her because I get that. Like, I get it. I think at some point in your business, you're trying to figure out who you are, and there's you still don't know. So you try to over validate yourself in many areas. It might be in how you title. You see people have like 20 different titles, and they're like, okay, somewhere in there is a scream for, please see me. Please see all that I've accomplished. Please see how great I am, right? So you can tell where people do it. I think it's a human thing, especially when you're still figuring this stuff out. But when you're down so far into, I need other people to tell me how important I am, and the only way I can do that is in my business, then you've got to really check, why am I building a business? Should I be building a business? And stopping her from building a business and throwing away more money and really hurting herself in the meantime was, to me, a big blessing that I was able to help with her, and she thanked me for it. She thanked me for it because nobody had told her that. Now, that was the part. And that's the thing about this whole coaching industry. Before I forget, that pisses me off, because why is it $200,000 later and we're having this conversation and nobody told her?
Nobody told her. They just kept taking the money.
They just kept, just give me $20,000 more and I'll tell you how great you are. Just give me the money and I'll keep validating you all damn day. That's a ripoff. And so I see this happen all the time in the coaching industry. It drives me crazy. And, the title of this, can you really make a living as a coach? The answer is yes. You can make a living as a coach. The thing is, you have to make it.
Not as a con artist. Not as a con artist. And you can make a living as a coach when you build the business that's supposed to support your life. When you build a business that has clientele, that you've already seen evidence that they're paying for what you have. When you build a business that is focused on helping the people that you want to help. When you focus on what you do extremely well. When you focus on really thinking through how to market, how to sell. And when you stay in your lane and stop worrying about other people's lane, you can build a coaching business, and you can make a living, and a very good one. So, any questions? Good Lord. I just felt the need to release that today because, good.
Oh, it's so nice having lunch with you too, Jason. He's so sweet. I watch Jason all the time. I saw you on Tracy's Blab where you let her grill you. You were so brave. That was, No, it was good, Jason. It was really, really good. So any questions? You answered my question. Oh no. Kay, she had a question about advanced techniques. So here's where advanced techniques are advanced techniques. Yes, feedback is the breakfast of champions. Advanced techniques are typically when you're trying to do I'm selling Facebook ads. I'm trying to promote programs on social media. I'm trying to enroll people into group coaching programs. If you're just starting out, or if you're at the point where you haven't consistently made income, and this is from a mentor of mine that she's well known and she knows her stuff, honey. I learned a lot from her. And she tells you that if you haven't made $5,000, actually $8,000, 3 months in a row, then you should not be doing online marketing. Now, here's what online marketing is versus non-online marketing. Okay. What I'm saying is, and that you should be starting with one-on-one clients. You're starting with one-on-one clients. What I'm saying about this is, if you are online and you know somebody and you reach into their inbox and you have a conversation with them, that's probably as deep as you need to go online. Your job is to get online people to have conversations with them. That's as far as you need to go. But when you're trying to get groups of people online, that takes more skill set than it seems. So I know there's people who are like, well, just build a Facebook group. Just put people in there. And there's a lot that goes on. If you're not a strong copywriter, you're not going to be able to do that and stay and sustain it. So you have to learn the art of copywriting. If you're not a salesperson, natural salesperson, we're all natural salespeople. But if you're not focused on a strong skill set with sales, you're going to crash and burn before you get people in. And yes, you can start with, I'm just going to get people in for like $47. But here's the challenge. You can't build a sustainable business off of $47 a head. No. And you're not going to give the best of yourself. And then you're going to constantly be trying to get that $47 to become a $500 client, to become a $1,000 client, to become your fastest path to cash is start with the one-on-ones. Give yourself a good year to get all the kinks out of your one, because your one-on-one will drive you into your groups. Your groups will drive you into your mastermind. Your masterminds will drive you into whatever you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also need to determine, what type of business do I really want? Do I want just one-on-ones, or do I want group programs? A lot of times, again, we romanticize.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be on the stage like Tony Robbins. Yeah, Tony was probably starting with people in his living room. Think about it. Tony didn't just jump on to a stage of 20,000 people or 200,000 people or 500,000 people.
Nope.
You got to start where you are and determine. And as you start to work, you'll also figure out what structure works best for you.
Right.
You know, some people are I can have clients, you know, work in masterminds for a year. Some people are 90 days is my max. Some people are, I never want my clients to leave me again. You got to figure out how you operate the best and what serves your clients the best.
Yep.
Yes. Master your one thing, Kay. That's exactly right. Master your one thing, not everybody else's one thing. And, you know, look at models, compare and contrast, but also know that the majority of the models that you're looking at, those people started by creating an audience that was very close to their home. They did not start jumping, you know, with Lisa Sasevich. She started her business. She was in the romance. She was a romance coach or something. She was in the romance something or other. And so she had a following that she took into coaching. But people think automatically, oh, she's been here forever. No, she started in another field where she had built up a following. Then she brought that following over. And she'll tell you that she used to work for Pfizer, just like me. But she was in marketing. I was in sales. And I didn't know.
Interesting.
Her. Yeah. So, but she started, you know, from her Pfizer job I think she started consulting with a company because of her marketing prowess. So, you know, you got to know the backdrop before you start to say, well, that's the life I want. Cause you got to know what that life is. Again, the comparison.
Right.
All right. So
nice.
I see some people joining on. Hi, Jacqueline Lynn. We're getting ready to go. Gorilla Grunt. All you folks, I just so appreciate. I know I was a little, I emoted a little today. Would you agree, Jay?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was emoting. But you know, I appreciate you staying on, listening. Some of you were like, yes, I totally get it. Yes, that's me. Yes, I totally get what you're saying. I have a Facebook group. It's called Genius Think Tank, you know, and it's just starting, and it's not advanced marketing strategy. No, but it's, you know, I love to create communities of people who are thinking and who want to take what's here and make a living from it, you know? And so I invite people into the Genius Think Tank community because, you know, I think that we all have genius. We all have so much to lend each other. Yes. And it would be really great to be in a community where we're all together learning and using those tools. And, you know, something Jay knows video stuff. I don't know video stuff. Jason, come on in. Please come in. You know, Jay knows video stuff. I don't know it, you know, so let's blend to each other's genius, you know. Right. And I'm in the group, so Jay's already in the group, you know, but we are greater than the sum of our parts, right? Isn't it a saying or something? Did I get that right? Absolutely. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Or it is. Something. It is. Yeah, I got that right, Jason. Awesome. So this is me signing out. Jay, you good? Cool. You have any final thoughts? All right. My final thought is, go ahead. Just be true and authentic and keep plugging. Yeah. Be true to you. If it all comes down to, Linda Barnaby knows that we talk about authenticity. We talk about it all the time. Just be true to you. Be true to you and be true to your tribe, and great things will happen. Do good work. Yep. All right. Yep. So have a fabulous Friday. Appreciate you. See you soon. Thanks, Karen. Thank you.